I was driving down a back road on a freezing cold morning, and I saw something tiny on the side of the road. At first I thought it was trash, but then it moved and I slammed on the brakes. I stepped out into that cutting wind and walked toward the little shape on the snowy shoulder. When I got close enough, I saw it was a kitten alone and shaking uncontrollably. My stomach twisted and I crouched down and called out softly, "Hey buddy, hey little one, it's okay." The kitten looked up with the saddest half-closed eyes, and its fur was wet and stuck to its skin. I reached out carefully and felt how cold he was, like a tiny block of ice. Without thinking, I wrapped him inside my jacket and held him against my chest to share my warmth. He let out the weakest little meow and pressed his tiny paws into my hoodie, like he was clinging to life. I carried him back to the truck and cranked the heat up to max while talking to keep him awake. My hands were shaking from adrenaline, and I kept checking his shallow, uneven breathing. Halfway down the road, he stopped shaking and then exhaled a tiny warm breath that made me think he might be okay. I knew I had to get him warm fast, so I drove straight home without stopping. Inside the house, I grabbed towels, warm water bottles, and blankets, and made a small nest from the drier fresh towels. I wrapped him gently and warmed him slowly, being careful not to overheat him. He tried to stand and then collapsed from exhaustion, and I kept rubbing him with a warm towel. After about an hour, he let out a louder meow, and it hit me that he was starving. I mixed kitten milk replacer and used a tiny syringe to offer small drops, and at first he barely responded. The moment he tasted a drop, he started suckling like he had not eaten in days, and I kept giving tiny sips. I alternated warming and feeding for hours, and slowly the color returned to his nose, and his paws stopped being icy. Once he was stable, I went back to the exact spot where I found him to look for a mother or siblings. On the snow, I found tiny paw prints that abruptly stopped, and nearby I discovered large bird marks and torn snow. It became clear a hawk had likely carried him, and then dropped him onto the road, and I realized how close he came to dying. Back at home, he slept curled up like he owned the blanket, and his breathing was finally steady enough for me to breathe out. Over the next few days, he slowly transformed, and the weak icicle became a playful little troublemaker. He followed me around the house like my shadow and climbed into my lap whenever I sat down. I knew he deserved a name that fit his story, and I picked Frost because he survived the coldest moment of his life. The name seemed to suit him, and he responded with a little meow like he approved. Watching him play and stretch and purr made me realize how lucky we both were that day. If you are watching this, take it as a reminder to slow down and look around, because you never know when you might save a life. Frost is safe, warm, loved, and staying with me, and I am grateful for every little meow and purr. If you want more rescue stories, hit the like button and subscribe, because I will share more of these moments with you. Thank you for being here and for caring about animals and me. Frost says hi with a tiny sound that will melt your heart.